HEMA has always been, HEMA and TPO has been in product for a really, really long time.
Right.
Very recently, people are like, hey, we're making products like HEMA free. And then after Europe banned TPO, and then it becomes like a thing where now brands are making them with those ingredients.
Right.
However, for years, it has HEMA in your gel polish. It makes your gel polish to be harder. It helps it cures better. It helps it stay. Um, and now there's different ingredient that you can sub instead of HEMA that would give you somewhat of a similar, product that have the same heart curing that stays on, for 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 week ish. So application is key. You can't have gel polish getting all over your cuticles. Yes, mistake will happen. Yes, sometimes
Yeah.
you will get that on your cuticle. It is never 100% perfect. Sometimes you wiped it. Sometimes it accidentally get into your skin. But
Right.
size applications and be careful when you do your gel polish would significantly help.
Polish in my hand, I'm ready to create each nail a masterpiece. I can hardly wait. Soft pastels or vibrant hues, each tells a tale in their artistry of nails. Nothing ever fails. With each swirl and twirl, let the magic begin in this kingdom of gloss. There's no end to the wind. Gloss on my fingertips, watch them shine bright. Painted like a canvas, colors taking flight. Feeling fierce and fabulous, I'm ready to ignite. Slaying the nail game every single night. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the Bird. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the Bird.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. She is the founder of PLA Pro. Please welcome Michelle. Hello, Michelle, and how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate you. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Likewise. I want to go ahead and kick things off by asking where you're originally from and tell us about your upbringing.
So I was born and raised in Vietnam. I came to America when I was about 18 and originally wanted to go to medical school because, if you're Vietnamese, your parents just like become a doctor or a pharmacist.
Right.
It sort of is just, what they encouraging their kids to do. And I went to college here. I actually went to ASU in Arizona.
Hmm.
I work in the beauty industry as a receptionist and then work part-time a little bit to kind of pay for my college bill. Sort of fall in
Hmm.
love with eyelash extensions and came home and told my mom, I don't want to be a pharmacist. I want to do eyelash for a living. I'm going to have a heart attack. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, if I tried this for 2 years and I can't make this work and I, just can't financially support myself, I'll quit
Right.
and go back to like medical schools. And my mom's all like, okay. And I start doing eyelash extensions and just never look back. So I've been in the beauty industry for about, God, almost 20 years, 19 years this year. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow. Congratulations.
thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. I want to get into as far as school, college experience. So, what was like your school experience, and especially with college, possibly trade school, things like that?
Yeah. I um I didn't love college. I really struggled in college because when I came here, I didn't really speak English. So I started with
Mm.
ESL and then, learning everything else. I loved the beauty industry. I didn't
Hmm.
particularly love the beauty schools I went to. It was so long ago. It was 19 years ago. It was very, there was not a lot of, I would say, curriculums or foundations
Yeah.
that really taught. It was more like this is how you do things. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
which really changed the way that I look at beauty and educations. So, I own
Right.
PLA, which actually short for Paris Lash Academy. It started because I wanted to teach eyelash extensions and teach the foundations of eyelash extensions, and then it
Right.
kind of pivot and become like an e-commerce company that sells product and do product
Right.
development. But education is my passion. I if I could do two things, I would teach and I would do product development. That's all.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's really, really cool. And I think also too, and I can agree as far as just with the beauty schools and nail schools, because I took cosmetology courses in my high school. So I'm a licensed cosmetologist.
Oh yeah.
And so the thing is that like I took cosmetology course from sophomore to senior year. So before I went to art school, I got my license. And so the thing that you make a very interesting point as far as the curriculum is just like, oh, this is how you do things.
Yep.
And is how you do things as far as getting a license is not to the point where it's in depth, where it's like, okay, business, taxes, insurance, how do you keep yourself covered? How do you, really like what are some things you could do to continue education, or what are some things that go into finance, loans, and getting a business, getting a salon, booth renting, all these nooks and crannies in regards to beauty and nails. You're not really taught that to a full degree. I mean, you're taught like the foundations. Sanitation, of course, you learn that. I've learned mostly hair in regards to cosmetology, but I had a huge interest in nails since I was 14. I'm 29 now, but yeah, I think it's just a thing where there it's more of a higher standard now today, is to have more of a standard and more of a deeper aspect of a curriculum where we're taught things to get prepared for the industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did remember. Oop, am I echoing?
No, no.
Okay. I remember when I went to school, when we they would say this is how you pass the bar exam, and then they would train you how to pass the bar exam. We've learned almost nothing about eyelash extensions. I don't know about like Maryland, but in Nevada, the state that I'm in right now, eyelash extensions is not a part of the curriculum
Oh wow.
for
Okay.
estheticians or cosmetology. It's not a part of it. And
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
when I went to school, it wasn't a part of it. However, in order for you to do eyelash extensions, you have to be an esthetician. So I know a lot of people went to school to do eyelashes, kind of just sit in class and bust through school, do what they have to do in order to get the license. And I'm really hoping with the way that we teach eyelash extensions now in by brand in classes, and we start actively going into beauty school and offering those classes, it
Right.
helps because people can't just be handed two tweezers and say this is how you do it. Just go at it. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Work with the eye, and there's liquid, there's sanitation, there's a lot going on beyond just glue an eyelash on.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely, and that's the thing. Also, too, the same thing with nails. It's more to it than just doing nails stuff like that. You have to understand, how we're taught, like the anatomy, the sanitation, the chemistry and things like that, and especially the sanitation. That's vital, if anything. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that people have to keep in mind. And you want to have a license to get you to have yourself covered. You don't want to be doing things without a license.
Yeah, absolutely. Is what is the requirement for licensing for eyelash and nails there? I think you have to be a manicurist, right? But do you guys have like a special program for eyelash extensions?
So for the eyelash extensions, I'm not exactly sure
Okay.
as far as Maryland. Now with nail tech is like 250 here. 250 hours here in Maryland from my understanding. And then for cosmetology is 1500 hours
Oh
here.
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. I know like some states like Florida and somewhere else is like 600 hours for a nail tech license or something like that. Or 500 hours somewhere around there. So yeah, so it kind of varies from state to state, but I know in my state it's like 1500 for cosmetology and then 250 for the nail tech license.
Okay, yeah. For
Yeah.
Nevada, I think it's like 1,200.
Oh, okay, so it's a little less than ours.
Yeah.
A little less than ours, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and push forward. I want to talk about as far as just how you got started, because I know you mentioned being a lash artist. So also, what made you pivot into focusing on the nail industry? What made you pivot from lashes to nails?
So we actually still do Lash now. I say about 70% of our company gross income revenue is actually from eyelash extensions. PLA's been around,
Okay.
yeah, PLA's been around for 7 years, coming
Okay.
to year number 8, and our nail line has only been around for 2.5 years, but our eyelash extensions has been around for almost 8 years. So 3 years ago, I told my best friend, who's actually our VP of marketing, and I say I really want to do a nail line. Majority of my family, my relative, aunts, uncles, and everyone work in the nail industry, and I saw firsthand how cheap not quality safe products really have an effect on you after you've been exposed to it for like 20 years. I've seen my
Hmm.
aunt who've been doing nails for the last 35 years start having like sneezing, coughing problem, contact dermatitis, allergic
Right.
reactions, high sensitivity. So is my
Hmm.
uncle. People have breathing problem later on down the line. And my background, I do product development for our company in Paris Lash Academy for all lash product. And once I look more into the ingredients, I go, I can't believe we work around this. Like this is a little insane. Also, I
Yeah.
owned a salon for 6 years. Prior to owning my own brand, I owned a salon for 6 years, and half of it was nails and half of it was eyelashes.
Hmm.
So taking the experience and the frustrations that I had with my background in product development, I'm like, let's make a nail line. And at first, we kind of make it as like I say like a side hobby just because I didn't know a lot about nails. I know product development and I know like, chemical things
Right.
like that, but I
Yeah.
didn't know a lot about nails. So I make it more like, let's add this on the website and see how it goes. And I really want to make a nail line that like I love that I could use for myself. I myself
Hmm.
am allergic to so many things. I'm allergic to HEMA, I'm allergic to latex, I'm allergic to cyanoacrylate. I mean, you
Oh
named
wow.
it and I'm allergic to it. They call me
Wow.
bubble girl. So they like, if there's a sample that you want to test, you hand it to me, and I will let you know in about 30 minutes if I'll be swollen or itchy. So we launched the nail line as in like a hobby of mine, and we got very very lucky. It got picked up by a lot of celebrity nail artists. So Selena Gomez, Kylie Jenner, Gwen
Hmm.
Stefani. I mean, we've had a long list of celebrity actually wore our nail polish and loved them. And about a year and a half ago, People Magazine called us the brands that all stars wear, and was
Oh
not.
wow.
Yeah, I know it was kind of crazy.
Wow.
So then, for all. I didn't intend for the nail line to grow to the point that it is now, but it
Right.
sort of just became that. And about 6 months ago, almost a year ago, I said, okay, this is a real thing. We should really give it the attention it deserves. So we carve out
Hmm.
a sales team and a product development team. So, beyond what I'm doing and what a couple of people on our marketing team's doing. So nail is one of our two focus, lash and nails to grow. We
Hmm.
have a really loyal base of customer and we continue to grow and get into big box stores. So that has been really encouraging the last couple of years.
Mm. Now I want to talk about having your own salon. So you ran your own salon, like how you just mentioned. So what was your experience having your own salon, and what were some of the challenges that you faced, developing your own salon and running it as well, possibly?
I would say run my salon very different than most salon that I know or worked at or been a part of. Half of our salon was lashes, half of our salon was nail. We didn't do acrylic, we just did natural nails. It was
Hmm.
in a very upscale area where there was a lot of elderly customer. I would say
Oh
majority
wow.
of the customer was I say like 45 and over. There was very
Hmm.
few people that's like under that age. And I also think because it's the price range that we charge. So we
Right.
themed our salon torch like this is like a luxury experience. This is all natural, less chemical, safe, etc. And we had a pretty well-rounded staff. There was a lot of controversial of like how I hire my staff. I didn't hire anyone with experience. I hire everyone fresh out of school. And I
Hmm.
didn't hire them fresh out of school for salary reason. I actually hired them out of school because I do eyelash very different than most other people. And I want my
Hmm.
salon to be uniform on how we perform the service, same as
Hmm.
nails. So in 6 years that I owned the salon, I think we lost three employees and one because they moved. And by the time that I sold the salon, we had 42 staff that stay with the salon. Um,
Hmm.
I say the biggest challenge is educations. So
Hmm.
once you get the staff in teaching and making sure that everyone adhere to the same kind of SOP. This is how we greet our customer. This is how we do
Hmm.
our service.
Hmm.
Training, product development, because I wouldn't say everyone could do good nails. A lot of people could do good nails. A lot of people could do good lashes. The difference in our salon is, I say, our customer trust us because we get trained for product development, we get trained for handling customer service. It doesn't matter if you go to Amanda or Sandra or Katie, you all get the same experience. And our staff don't rush through. We don't do a manicure or a pedicure or whatnot in 30 minutes. There's a timers to everything that we do. So people
Right.
get the same experience every time they come in. So I say
Mhm.
training was the biggest hurdle, but once
Mhm.
people get through the training, we have great staff retentions. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I think also too, I think I like how you mentioned as far as training, because I think not a lot of salons do that as far as like training in between,
Yeah.
while people are working and things like that. Like, I worked in a spa my last year of college, as a nail tech. And I was licensed, of course, and I mean, of course, you learn to work with clients and things like that. But I do wish when I was there could have been a little bit more training
Yep.
and things like that. So, but definitely, I think that's something that could be popularized a bit more in the salon space, especially in regards to beauty, lashes, nails, to have more trainers in just in between.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think training, we were lacking training in school, and then when we
Yeah,
got out thrown to the real world and then learn how to do all of this, a lot of it is kind of learn it on your own, or you have to find the informations on YouTube or follow creators.
right.
Learning new technique, teaching and training in salons is really underrated right now.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. I can agree with that. Now, I want to get into as far as PLA Pro. So, of course, you have your brand PLA Pro, Paris Lash Academy. So, tell us of how PLA Pro got started. Like, why'd you name it Paris Lash Academy?
So it is actually my first salon's called Paris Spa, and Paris is named after my daughter. My firstborn's her name is Paris. So
Oh,
so yeah, so we kind of just name it after our daughter. Then when I about 4.5 years into owning my own salon, because of the sheer volumes that we were doing in terms of buying supplies, it doesn't make sense for us to just buy it from a company anymore. And I have product development background, so I said, hey, let me look into seeing how do I buy some of these product or develop some of these product with the manufacturers so I can get
right.
like wholesale price or just vendor pricing. And then I was able to kind of build out a pretty complete line for my own salon to use. Then
Mhm.
people locally start buying my product, and then one day I told my husband, I'm like, let's sell the salon. I really want to make cool products and then actually sell them.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
husband thought I lost my mind. You know, it was just like, what are you talking about? Our salon's doing so well. I mean, we have 40 staff, things are good, and
Right. Yeah.
I was
Mhm.
slowly getting out from actually doing the service and like running the salon,
Mhm.
instead of
Right.
just being behind the chair the whole entire time. And he thought I lost it. So I told him, I said, no, I really see potential. I think I could grow this, and it makes me so happy. Eventually, I was able to convince him to let me sell the salon. Um, and here we are. So now, so we were Paris Lash Academy for forever, and then we
Mhm.
launched the nail line. So then the name doesn't make sense for us anymore to be Paris Lash Academy with the nail line. And then most people already know us as PLA for short. So we just officially changed our name to PLA.
All right. So I want to get into as far as more about the brand PLA Pro. So what makes the brand and its product stand out? What makes it so unique?
We don't sell the same stuff as everyone does. When it comes to eyelashes or when it comes to nail, we were actually the first company ever bring out with a four-in-one gel lacquer acrylic dip that have all brand new packagings that were all matching. You may see a couple brand on the market that does that now, but they were not the first one to do it. So when I
Mhm.
make a product, I want to make a good, clean product, but I want to make products that solve problems. The reason why I have my packaging to be that way was because when I owned the salon, all of the gel and all of the gel polish that I owned at that time, and I have about 5 different brands, they were all black or white bottle. It was ugly on my wall. It didn't look great. It didn't have the cleanest ingredients. So when I make my line, I have a whole list of everything that I want it to be, and and we don't come out with a product unless we get everything on that list taken care of. So any time that we come out with a new product, it has intention, it has purpose, it has a reason why we do the things that we do. And when it comes to eyelash product, for example, I don't know if you know this, but like we are the only eyelash extensions company that actually hold like professional eyelash extension that actually hold patents. So like we have a few patents, we have a tons of patents that is in the U.S. Patents Office right now. I'm the creator of a lot of the pre-made fan, pro-made fan on the market. Right now, we were the
Mhm.
first company that ever came out with it, and we have 5 manufacturers in Vietnam that PLA owns in order to make all of our products. So like we don't
Oh
make
wow.
product elsewhere. We actually manufactures our eyelash extensions, and we make the world's a lot of firsts when it comes to eyelash extensions. So
Oh wow.
our company's mission is to make really, really, really cool stuff that solve problems that never
Right.
existed before. So that's our
Mhm.
core values. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and one thing that I find very interesting about polishes like gel polishes is that you'll have it's not even just a black and white packaging. I think it's also too like when you get a color and it's like the wrapping would say would be orange, and when you pull it out, it's a whole different type of orange, and you're just like, okay.
Like catfish, so
Yeah, yeah. It's like you got hoodwinked a little bit.
yes,
So
absolutely.
so that's kind of another thing that I've noticed as well too. I want to jump and switch gears and talk about as far as just like product quality and safety as well. So there has been conversation recently and controversy surrounding nail product quality, integrity, and safety. There has been nail pros and clients who have opened up about getting allergic reactions to gel nail products. So coming from a brand owner perspective, what is your take on the conversation surrounding allergic reactions and how important is product safety for clients and nail professionals?
Yeah. So when it comes to, allergic reactions and people all reacting to different things, I say there's two key component to it, right? Number one is applications and skills, absolutely. And then number two is how clean your product is. Your gel product. So HEMA and TPO has been in product for a really, really long time.
Right.
Very recently, people are like, hey, we're making products like HEMA free. And then after Europe banned TPO, and then it becomes like a thing where now brands are making them with those ingredients.
Right.
However, for years it has HEMA in your gel polish. It makes your gel polish to be harder. It helps it cures better. It helps it stay. And now there's different ingredient that you can sub instead of HEMA that would give you somewhat of a similar product that have the same heart curing that stays on for 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 week ish. So application is key. You can't have gel polish getting all over your cuticles. Yes, mistake will happen. Yes, sometimes
Yeah.
you will get that on your cuticle. It is never 100% perfect. Sometimes you wiped it. Sometimes it accidentally get into your skin. But
Right.
size applications and be careful when you do your gel polish would significantly help. So me, for an example, I was not the best nail artist. I would say like earlier in my nail career, just from
Mhm.
lack of educations, right? I'm like, well, if it gets on my skin, I'll just wipe it. It's fine. And I didn't have a HEMA allergic reactions. I developed a HEMA allergic reactions because I overexposed myself to it the first few years that I owned my own salon. So that I just didn't
Right.
understand why suddenly my nails start getting itchy and then around my cuticles start peeling and then sometimes it gets swollen. And it all happened after I paint my nails and I would have to take my nails off. And then I went and
Right.
tested and they were like, hey, you're allergic to HEMA. And I'm like, since when? I've always worn gel polish, but when I started doing nails in my salon, and from me being not careful and not really educated around all of the products in nail polish at that time really led
Right.
to that, right? So you have to be very
Mhm.
careful when you apply. That's a given. And then second, now that you have access to really clean formulations, people does substitute HEMA with like HPMA, for an example, that is a
Right.
little bit easier on your body just because it's harder to to really be absorbed into your skin. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
different formulations out there for you to choose. And if you are a bubble girl like me, who is allergic to everything there is, make sure you be very very careful when you apply your gel polish and pick a little cleaner of an ingredient. Ask for the SDS and say, hey, very specifically, I'm sensitive or allergic to HEMA or HPMA. Can I use your product? And brand should be able to provide that to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, speaking as far as HEMA, so for those who may not be aware about HEMA, what are these components in gel products, and how does someone know if a nail product is too high in HEMA in an SDS or MSDS sheet? What are the nuances in regards to surrounding HEMA, TPO, things like that?
Yeah. So HEMA is a monomer. So it's an acrylic monomer that is in your. It's very common to use in like your gel polish, your builder, hard gel, even nail
Hmm.
glue, even some lash adhesive.
Yeah.
But HEMA mainly makes your gel polish like sticks a little bit better. It lasts longer. So from like a performative standpoint, it helps your gel polish to stays on longer. And then
Right. Mhm.
for is HEMA really bad? No, it really isn't bad. Again,
Right.
you've
Hmm.
been in
Yeah.
it for so long. You just have to be careful and not have it because the molecule is so small. It's so easy to actually absorb into your skin. That's the
Mm.
reason why an overexposure to it could lead you to be sensitive to it. It could lead you to be allergic to it, like in my case. And when
Right.
you look at when you look at an MSDS, you can look for HEMA. It should be listed on your MSDS. Most of the time, it is within the first three ingredient of the MSDS. I like to have HEMA. If I'm gonna use a product that has HEMA, I like it to have under 7%, and that's just personal preference. But now there's a lot of options for you to pick product without HEMA. I would go that route, especially if you do it as a professional. Sorry, which mean you are going to have to be around it all the time. You are going to have to um, be exposed to it, cleaning after it, etc., things like that.
Right.
Go with
Hmm.
one without HEMA, and then after under 5% is considered low in HEMA. So you could do there's even product that have like 1 to 3% HEMA if you have to, or go with a HPMA substitute for HEMA, or you can do an oligomer base, which is probably the safest one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I want to get into and switch gears and talk about the beauty distribution programs, as well as nail educational classes that you offer, with your brand PLA Pro. So tell us more about the beauty distribution program as well as the educational classes that you guys offer.
So we have quite a bit of programs. So we have a distributor program for if you resell product, we do have the distributor program that you get products at like a wholesale price and then resell them locally. We do have a power trainer program for educators to join our power trainer program and teach locally. You'll be able to buy all of the kits at significantly discount, pretty much at cost. So because we always our mission is to support teachers. So we make no money, not almost. We make no money off educations. And if you go on our website, you would find our free resources page where we teach between classes and nails and give you all kind of forms and any of the resources that we have in house. And then we have our ambassador program.
Mm. I
Yeah.
want to get into as far as nail education. So, what is your perspective coming from a brand owner business perspective? What is your perspective as far as the growth of nail education? And also, do you think that there's miseducation in the nail industry?
Absolutely. So I sit in classes, right, of people that teach nails, and I was just like, oh, don't do that. Just because, from like a product standpoint, I'm like, that's not how it's intended to be
Right.
used. I am really proud of the nail industry, though, to say it has come in
Mhm.
such a long way from when I
Yeah,
first
agree.
started doing nails, and
Mhm.
it was simple as like, here's a file, and this is acrylic, and try not to cut people's hand and whatnot. Like it went from no educations almost when I went to school to now there's actually classes teaching you about how do you form the nails, how do you, read SDS, how do you make your nail last longer. I mean, there's a lot more about nail education than it has ever been. That's why
Yeah.
as a brand, we support educators in order to teach the next generations of nail people, right? I mean, all of my
Mhm.
aunts and uncles and cousin got really no education. They got handed a file and say, pass your state board and go to work. And then now
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I know, and
Mhm.
that's why I mean I'm Vietnamese, right? I can say this, and this is a little bit controversial because a lot of the elder generations, like I don't know, 30 years older than I am,
Mhm.
my parents did do nails, but like my aunts and my uncles' generations, they didn't know any better because they weren't taught any better. So then it comes to like, hey, this is a chop shop. This is a shop that doesn't have sanitation,
Right.
all of the things. Um,
Right.
and then you get the bad rap for it. But I see the younger generations now that does now, aka my generation, who cares so much about product, who cares so much about the cleanliness and sanitizing, who raised the prices of doing nails. Back when I was doing nails in 2000 and I don't know 6, when I was in college, it was $18 for a pedicures.
Mm.
I get my pedicure at a salon now in Reno. It's nothing crazy fancy, but it's beautiful and is very clean. It's very sanitized. They charge like $75 for a pedicure. I am proud of our nail industry for actually
Right.
taking up a stand. Charging more, investing in product that has cleaner ingredient, investing in product that higher grade and that cures
Right.
100%. I mean,
Mhm.
people never talk about photo initiator. Do you know that, like, until very recently? And then now
Yeah, yeah.
everyone talks
Mhm.
about photo initiator, and I'm like, that has always been a thing. But
Right.
people just weren't educated about it. So I'm
Right.
enormously proud of the progress that we have made in our nail field, for sure. And I'm
Mhm.
hoping that keeps continuing. But I do see a lot of misleading or teaching informations where it's not, it wasn't correct. And
Right.
I think because they just weren't taught any better. But I'm optimistic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, yeah, definitely nail education has came a long way. Like how we was talking about like TPO and HEMA and SDS and stuff like that. Even when I was like in doing cosmetology courses in my high school, I wasn't taught some of those things of how to read an SDS sheet properly or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So like I'm glad that there's a lot more classes as far as just getting more in depth into things that's not talked about, things that is not covered when you go to beauty school or nail school, and there's more awareness of things now, like how we was talking about allergic reactions and stuff like that, and things to look out for. And people are about safety and sanitation, saying, hey, like, especially also too with pricing too, you know what I mean? And even when I first started, like in terms of press on us, I would charge like 30 or $40, you know what I mean? So, and it's just like, you understand more of products and things you use and the time you spend, so you're like, hey, let me up the prices. And I like with press on nail arts, they charge a couple $100s for a set of press-ons, or for like a manicure and things like that, because you're using high quality products. And especially it also applies to skill too, the skill as far as the services, and also with just the nail artistry also too as well. So I'm happy to see that people are raising the bar as far as their worth.
Yeah, no, me too. And then I'm hoping that, as I call them, the younger kids, graduating school and getting the level of educations now that schools are invested in. I'm hoping they'll continue to uphold that and then do better and do better, because I've seen that even with brands. I've
Right.
seen them, where
Mhm.
brands before which is like, hey, what can I get for this is our budget for our gel polish, and then the
Right.
manufacturers will
Hmm.
literally alterate the formulation in order to meet with like the low cost. And then now I literally go to brand and I say, this is what I need to have manufacturers or lab, and I say, this is
Right.
what I need in my gel polish. You tell me, how much it's gonna cost, and then we price accordingly.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I want to get into as far as the next question. So, what are some things you like about the nail industry, and what are some things you think the nail industry could be improved on?
I love that the nail industry is really collaborative.
Hmm.
Coming from being in the beauty industry for a really really long time, I do see um, a lot of tips, tricks being shared over social media, where people are not
Hmm.
stingy and like curtain closing with This is how I make this. This is how I design this. There's a lot of willingness to share for other people's to learn.
Right.
I love that. I love the creativity of the nail industry because wow,
Yeah,
like
me too.
I look at some of the set of the nails and I was just like, how? Like I saw someone draw wood with like patent like this morning, and I was just like, how do you guys do that? Or all of the 3D designs and all of the things. I love that. I think that's why nails draw so many people with creative mind to be in it. So I love
Right.
that part. Yeah, and then I think something that could improve, and I've always seen, the improvement is education. Education
Yeah.
in nails should be so 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 huge because we work with so much chemical, and
Right.
it's one of those things that AI is not going to replace, so we may as well teach
Mhm.
our own group how to do this properly. That's what I hope to be improved.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed. Now, what are your top 5 favorite gel nail colors from your brand, PLA Pro?
Oh my god. Mrs. Claus, I love that. Is a like classic red. I love Lily of the Valley. Our best-selling color, which I always thought is a little odd until I tried it on my toes, is ridiculously good looking. I love Give Me Some Sugar.
Mhm.
And if I do one more, let me think. Hmm, I say Count Tan. I do a lot of like tanned, nude, natural color. So yeah.
Mhm. What's like your 5th? That was like 4. What was like your 5th?
Present of Prada. I have them on my hands right now. It's the green.
All right.
Yeah.
Very, very cool green. Very, very cool. Now, what is your favorite nail shape?
Oh, almond all day long. Yeah, almond. I used to wear square nails for like 15 years, and then
Oh, wow.
oh yeah, I wore square nails like like 2005, 2006. Like I wore square nails for years, and then I put on my first set of almond shaped, and I'm like, oh my god, it makes my fingers look so much more like slimmer. It just looks better on my hand. I have short, stubby, little nails. So when I do square nails, it makes my nail look even shorter. Yeah.
I want to move on to the next question. So, how do you juggle being a beauty entrepreneur with life and mental health?
Oh, that's a load of questions. I don't. I don't. I think anyone that is our company is at a really, really important time. It is the time where we have the opportunity to grow so rapidly. So to
Right.
be completely quite honest, I don't have good work life balance. I have two kids and I have a husband who is incredibly supportive. So he helps me to somewhat balance our work life balance where he's there for the kids. He makes sure that he take care of the business when I need to be at the kids. It is very rare. Like I work 7 days a week and I work about 14, 16 hours a day. I
Oh,
only
wow.
sleep like 4.5 hours every night.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, but I love what I do. I don't recommend it because I don't think it's
Yeah.
sustainable. And I'm gonna be very transparent. I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's
Right.
doable for a
Mhm.
few years until we built in a system, then build a team that could do everything to help, relieve some of my time. It
Right.
helps if you love what you do and what you create. But work life balance is currently something I'm working really hard on. I don't think I'll be able to achieve it for a while, but I'm grateful for my husband, who's my rock, and helps me with a lot of it. So
Mm. I want
yeah.
to get into as far as just the whole journey with you being in the nail industry, being in the beauty industry and nail industry. So, what would you say has been the most rewarding as far as your journey in the beauty industry? Like, what has been some of the things you've learned throughout your journey?
God, I've learned that this is weird. I've learned that I don't need to do the best nails. I don't need to learn to do the best lashes. I actually have just how I've been able to keep my client is build a connections to my clients and
Right.
actually provide really, really good service and
Hmm.
help them and build that trust with me in term of, hey, this is the product that I use, this is the way that I do things. Most people think that they have to be the best nail artist out there, the best lash artist out there in order for them to build this fully booked schedule. And I find
Right.
to be quite the opposite. The more I pour into my clients in terms of trust, in terms of care, providing them a good experience, the busier that I was. I built my book a loyal customer very, very quickly. And when it comes to the beauty industry as a whole, the most rewarding thing for us was we built out a free education program for eyelashes for years. We didn't charge, and still we didn't charge for. We don't charge for educations at all. And we built out a program called "Let Paris Pay Your Bills." We actually pay out about $20,000 a month to people that like need help. Comes to us. We do giveaway. We do
Mhm.
sponsorship. We do scholarship, or people simply just like email us and say like, "Hey, this happened and I really need help." I came from nothing. I grew up on a farm. I grew up very, very, very poor. Now that I have an opportunity to, our company try to give back the most that we can into the community that built us, that has been very rewarding for me.
Absolutely. And I like when brands like really give back to, communities in need, especially. I think that's very, very important, is giving back, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Now I want to get into just as far as just advice, motivation, things like that. So if you had one valuable piece of advice for up and coming nail pros, business owners, beauty professionals, what would it be?
I would say only be in the beauty industry if you really love it. I had a lot of people come and tell me like, "Hey, Michelle, I thought that I would join the beauty industry. It makes a lot of money." There's a lot of different way that you could make money. But if you are in the beauty industry, the more you pour into your client, the more you invest it in your craft. And if you really, 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 truly loves it, you are going to be here for a long haul and you are going to last a long time. The people that I see that burned out, that leave the beauty industries, are typically the one that get into it because it's a job. It's a way that I make money. Again, I'm gonna tell you, if you're just gonna want to make money, there's a lot of different way that you could make money, and not just have to be in
Mhm.
the beauty industry. It requires a lot of you. It requires you to have patience, to have kindness, to connect to people, to have a level of creativity and really, really good craftsmanship.
Right.
Yeah, if you loved it, the beauty industry is going to put food on your table, help you, grow your business, help you grow a business like, a brand even, if you love them. But if you're just going into it for the money, you are going to eventually burn out. And honestly,
Right.
th-
Mhm.
there's a lot of other things you could do. But if you love it, it'll love you back.
Mm. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media? Where can people find PLA Pro on social media? And how can people purchase your products or become a trainer?
Yeah, so our website is plapro.com. We are on all the platform: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And to become our PLA Power Trainer, you want to go to our website and apply to be a PLA Pro Trainer there. There's some requirements, and if you don't quite meet the requirement yet, do not get discouraged. Those should tell you what you should do or work with you in order to get you there. And I just look forward to seeing everyone.
All right, that's absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for jumping on. I really appreciate this conversation. Getting to know you, your brand PLA Pro, and just your journey. I really love what you guys are doing. Just keep doing what you're doing, and just thank you so much. This was a very wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Asia, for having me. It is my pleasure to be here, and I really, really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Take care.
Oh, thank you.
Bye bye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye bye.